Hi, it's been a while since we've had the Amiga 500 Plus out. In fact, I think the last time was to steal the floppy drive from it to use in our 1581 build. But today we are not going to use this. The reason I've got this out is because we are going to build one of these. This is Denise. Denise is an Amiga 500 Plus compatible computer. You may have seen boards like the Amiga 500 Plus, which is a direct one-to-one sort of rebuild. This is slightly different. It's a mini ITX form factor. It has two Zorro II slots, a few other things. It has a stacked memory card, and we're going to build it. So let's go. Now, if you want to build one of these, I will put the link in the description. They are available from Tindy and one or two other places. Designed in Sweden. All the chips are standard dip through hole packages, but a lot of the little stuff is surface mount, and it's reasonably big surface mount 0805, but it's on the top and it's also on the bottom. So we've got down here a lot of the little resistors and capacitors and stuff. So the ports stack, which adds to the compactness. So instead of having them side by side, they are on top of each other. That's the slot for the memory. These are the two Zorro slots. This is our CPU. I shouldn't need the microscope for these little ones because I think they are big enough. It's an Amiga gold finish. It's done in a nice purple. I'm not going to finish it today because I don't have all the parts. I've got a collection of stuff that I've built up over actually a couple of years, to be honest. I've got the PCB almost 2 years ago now, and a lot of the stuff I've got, but a lot of the stuff I also haven't got. And so we're going to build it in stages, basically as and when. I don't have the chip sockets. I don't have all the chips because, as you will see, I've already nicked the two CIAs out of this. The floppy drive has gone. Everything else is still here, but of course this is the machine that black screens and we never did get it to work, which is why I'm happy to build it into a replacement. The choice was to have a Amiga 500 Plus, which is basically reproduce the same PCB and keep it in the same shell and all that, and I kind of didn't find that very interesting, whereas this I thought was interesting. We can find a case for it, mini ITX. You're welcome to make suggestions in the comment section below. It could be one of the Checkmate A3000 style miniature thing, which would be about the right size but quite expensive, or maybe you have a favorite case that we could look at. But let's get into it. When you want to build that add-on printed circuit board for your vintage computer, you are going to need a PCB maker that can do it for you, and our sponsor PCBWay is just the place to get that done. All you need to do is go to your project page, download the Gerber files, upload them to PCBWay, and select the color: yellow, black, purple, blue, green, etc. And a week later you'll get your printed circuit boards and you can build your project, and off you go. So cheers PCBWay. And if your printed circuit board doesn't work out, it makes a great drinks mat. So we've actually got two PCBs with this project. We've got the main board and we've got the RAM board. So this is going to be 2 megabytes of I think static RAM, and that is going to sit on a little riser there. But I've got the RAM chips for this, but I haven't at the moment got the various capacitors that go on there with it. So I'm not going to build that just yet. Put that to one side. We can start working on here, and I've got the interactive bomb bill of materials up on my iPad. There we go, and you can see that and basically you just tap the various components and it comes up on here. There you can see exactly where the component goes, and you can place it on the board. And there's another one for this, which we're not going to do just today. So, coffee. Now I'm going to start with these, which are 220 nanofarads 0805. So these all go on the back, and we've got like, okay, here we are. So those two, those three, and so on. Now there's 34 of these. So what I'm going to do is tip them into this little pocket. .34. So the way I'm going to do this, we can use plenty of flux. Let's do these two to start with. Put a little bit of solder there you go, on one end. Now I'll give these a try. I'm not sure whether these things are any good. They're non-conductive, so let's just try it out. That seemed to work. That didn't. Okay, and then we can just turn it around. It's not perfect, but they are on. So what I'll try with the next three is just put flux on one side, okay, the idea is I'm not sure that that worked very well. It seemed to go okay. And we can turn these around, flux it up. I'm trying to make sure it goes on the pad but doesn't go onto the through hole connection next to it. That looks okay. Getting better. Quick slurp. Right, I've got these two. Same principle. Push it down, squidge it up. Okay, I'll fast forward through the rest of these. There we go, that's the first value done. I'm going to clean the board up and check that everything is soldered. I'm going to try another technique for the next ones just to see how it compares. And I'm going to be using solder paste. This is not particularly high temperature solder paste, in fact it's quite low temperature solder paste, but it's what I've got. So you keep it in the fridge and it should have warmed up by now. Right, so 1 microfarad, 25 volts, there is one of these, and it is on the back again, it's this one here, C47. Okay, I'm going to use hot air on these, and I'm going to fit a bunch of components and then hot air them all at the same time. Is that the best technique? I don't know. Right, C47. There we go. This is 330, 50 volts. So we've got 36, 37, 38, 39. One thing I noticed when I was doing the soldering iron technique was down here I got solder into this hole, and getting it out again was a real pain in the butt, because I think this is like a 4-layer board at a guess, and yeah, there's a ground plane or something inside, and that was really hard to heat up and get out. So I'm hoping that this is going to make things easier as far as caught in the crossfire damage. Okay. So 4 of these. The next lot is 47 puff, which is 0.047 microfarads, and there are 7 of these. One goes here, 2 go here, Okay, now let's get the hot air on and see if we can solder these. Here it goes. These ones not so well. Let's leave those off and come back. Okay, they seemed mostly to work, but some of them didn't. Let's just redo these two. That's a mess. Okay, was it any quicker? I think probably not. Was it any better? I don't know. So next up we are going to be doing the resistors. Now I don't have all the values, at least not for the surface mount stuff, but I've got quite a few of them. There's a few that are missing on the BOM. So I'm going to go through these. We've seen putting stuff on. I'm just going to go through these. Most of these are only 1 or 2 resistors from each pack, and then we'll come back when the board is done. We have got most of the surface mount resistors and capacitors on. We've also put some ferrite beads on here. They're in various places, and there's a few on the other side resistors there. There's 3 values that I don't have, and there's other values here that I don't have. Well, that was embarrassing. So after I put all those resistors on, I realized that these are all the wrong power rating. And so I've taken them all off again, except for a couple. There's the 0 ohm resistors, and there's a couple here which are the right wattage. Everything else was the wrong wattage, and so they've been taken off, and I've had to order a bunch more resistors, and they are not here, so they won't feature in this particular video, other than this little creative pile of detritus. But I do have some transistors and diodes that we can fit. So let's fit these, and then we will be as far as we can get in this video. So this one is BC807, which is Q3 and Q4. So Q3, we're still on the back, Q3 is up here. Sorry, Q4 is up here, and Q3 is down here. We've got a bunch of these, so we will have plenty for the future. And I'm going back to the old soldering iron for these ones. So 2 transistors. Let's do this top one first, Q4. So a little bit of solder on that pad. And as usual, we'll heat the solder. There we go, and push it into it. Then we can turn it around and do the opposite pins. Sadly, it's going everywhere except for in the right place. Okay, those are on. The next ones that we have are Q1 and Q2. These are up here. Okay, I screwed that up already. This should have been over there. Why did you not spot that? I bet you were shouting at the thing, weren't you? So how are we going to get this off? Well, I hate to say it, we're going to have to use hot air on that. Competence not found here. Good job we've got some spares. Okay, so second time round, that will go there. This is why I always buy spares. Okay, now take two with this one. Two of these. And I already pinged that one off into the distance. I have no idea where that went, I can't see it. This is going well, isn't it? Hurrah, soldered better that time. Good. So our final component today is this one, which is all the TVS diodes. Now these are going to be these chaps. All these are ones along here and a bunch on the other side too. So I think there's 34 of these, or 33. So that's the first 10. Now these are a bit easier, I think, possibly. Let's try, we'll do them the same way. First 10, let's do the second 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4 more on this side. Okay, that's good. Now we can look at the ones on the other side. So we've got those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So in case you're wondering, these diodes are bidirectional. You can tell that because the part number is 5.0CA and not 5.0A. And that means that they're reversible and it doesn't actually matter which way around they go. So I'm sure you were wondering, how do I know which way around to put these diodes? it doesn't actually matter, and you'll see there's no polarity actually on the PCB. So that's those done. So that's basically what we can do at the moment. So I'm going to clean this board up, and next time we will do whatever we can with whatever parts we have got next time. So as I said before, this is really only an occasional series of building this thing. We will get the whole thing built, but I'm not in a particular rush, and to be honest, it all depends on having the money to buy the bits, and buying the bits as and when I can afford to do so. Now, I've got all those resistors wrong, so there's a whole new batch of stuff going to have to come from DigiKey. If you'd like to support me on the channel, please check out my Patreon. My patrons are scrolling up the screen. You do get some additional value in terms of videos being dropped early on Patreon, and there are, or at least will be, some exclusives to Patreon. But please subscribe to the channel. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, despite the fact that it's called a subscription. That is kind of a misnomer. But there's also YouTube super thanks. If you want to go that way, then you can do that. And I'm waffling now, so see you next time. See ya. Bye.